I'm going to show you how to complete problem from your math book on page 87. The annual county carnival is being held this summer and will last 5.5 days. Use this information and the other given information to answer each problem. So you're the owner of the biggest and newest roller coaster called the Gentle Giant. So you own this roller coaster. And that roller coaster, you're going to charge people $6 to ride it. Now, the operator of the ride must pay $200 per day for the ride rental and $65 per day for the safety inspection. So I'm going to go ahead and take a second right there and probably underline some of that stuff. There's $6 to ride, and the operator of the ride must pay $200 per day for the ride rental, and they got to pay $65 a day for the safety inspection. And if you want to make a profit of at least $1,000 each day, what's the minimum number of people that must ride the roller coaster? Okay. So picture that. You own the roller coaster. You charge $6 per person to ride it. And that's completely awesome. Like that, you can make a lot of money on that. But unfortunately, each day that you run that roller coaster, you fork out $200. And you also have to pay $65 for an inspection, okay? So it's not all like happiness where you're just making a profit, because of course you have bills to pay with any business. So the question's asking, what's the minimum number of people that must ride that roller coaster if you want to make at least $1,000 a day? So we've got to write an inequality that can be used to find the minimum number of people, and they want us to use P, which must ride the roller coaster each day to make the daily profit of $1,000. So, your first step is, identifying that variable, and we typically use X. But since the story problem wants us to use the letter P, we'll just use that. So P is going to represent the minimum number of people that must ride the roller coaster. I'm going to abbreviate. So that's the minimum number of people that must ride the roller coaster in order for you to make at least $1,000 in one day, okay? All right, let's go ahead and build our inequality. So we'll start with that variable. Okay, so this is the number of people that've got to ride it. Well, how much do those people have to pay each time they ride it? $6. So $6 per person to ride that ride. So that right there, that's your profit. That's how much money you're taking in. But remember, businesses, they don't just make money. They have to also spend money, to pay off bills and stuff. So when you're spending money, that's implying subtraction. And what do you got to pay? You got to pay $200 for that ride rental. Okay? And you've also got to pay $65 for a safety inspection. So these right here are your expenses. And you're comparing it with $1,000 because that's how much you want to make at least. So this amount right here, your profit subtract your expenses, it's got to be at least $1,000. Okay, so could it equal exactly $1,000 and you'd be happy? Yeah, you'd break even. But wouldn't it be wonderful to make more than $1,000? If you had your profit and then you just, after subtracting expenses, you made more than $1,000? Heck yeah. Okay, so that's what that means. This has to be at least $1,000, so it's got to be greater than or equal to $1,000. You'd still be happy if you broke even because you wouldn't be losing any money. All right, so now we've got to solve that inequality, and I'm going to rewrite it down here just to give myself more room. Okay, and you might be like, oh, let's go ahead and build it. But unfortunately, you can't build it yet because you've got to simplify it. You've got some constants right here that you need to combine before building it, okay? So you got negative 200 minus 65, and that's negative 265. Now bring down your 6 times p, bring down your inequality sign, bring down your 1,000. Okay, now we can build it. Start with P, then we multiplied it by 6, then subtracted 265. The inverse operation of subtracting 265 is adding 265, and that's what you do to both sides of that inequality sign. Negative 265 plus 265, that's 0. 1,000 plus 265 is 1,265. Bring down your inequality. Bring down your 6 times P. Now go back up. Inverse operation of multiplying by 6 is dividing by 6. So that's what you'll do now to both sides. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times P is 1P or P. And 1,265 divided by 6. You'll see you'll probably get a decimal of this. I think, let me double check. Yeah, you'll get that. So I just rounded it to the nearest hundredth, okay? And we keep the inequality consistent in the same, how it started, because we did not multiply or divide by a negative. If we multiplied or divided by a negative when we solved the inequality, you would reverse the sign right now at the very end. But that did not happen, so that's why it's consistent, okay? Now we've got to interpret the solution, because we're not quite done yet. Because we have to remember, what did that P stand for? The P represents the minimum number of people that have to ride that ride. Can you have 83 hundredths of a person? Because you'd have, to break even, you'd have to have 210 and 83 hundredths of a person riding that ride for you to break even to $1,000 profit. And unfortunately, you can't have 83 hundredths of a person. You would have to round this up, okay, to 211 people would have to ride the ride. So that's what we mean by interpreting the solution. 211 people or more need to ride the ride for you to make a profit of at least $1,000 after expenses, okay? After paying expenses. Okay? So 211 people need to ride that ride, and then you pay those expenses off, and that will give you a profit of $1,000 or more. All right, bye.